Welcome to the party.
Recording live from the corners of our world, it's Johnny and the Greg.
Hey, everybody.
How's
And
it
we're
going?
here with Nurse Erin again. Hey, Erin.
Hey, Erin.
Hi, guys.
I don't know if you guys are checking this out or not on. You guys can't check this out audio-wise, but for those of you that actually watch the YouTube, Erin is glowing today. I don't know if anybody notices that. Looking cute, Erin. Looking cute.
Thanks.
Yeah. So how's it going?
It's real good.
Yeah?
I can tell you got the football game on. It's reflecting
Okay.
off your wine glasses there. And I got to be honest, I wish I would have set something up so that I could
Yes,
take a peek.
I
But
did want to
don't.
thank you guys for sacrificing your night to talk here. Your
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers and Atlanta are playing.
Yep.
Got another touchdown, so
The Packers did?
yeah.
Yep.
Spoiler
They just
alert
was
to anybody
13-3.
Yeah. 13-3.
Thursday.
Well, I was totally off. I thought the game started at 9 because I think somebody had posted on social media it started at 9, but they're on a different coast than we are. So now I was watching the Kansas City game, which was a good game.
It was
Kansas
an
City
excellent game.
Yeah, and then I'm like, wait, I think the Packers are on 12, and I look, I'm like, it's the middle of the
Yeah.
second quarter. What the hell happened?
Oh, you got zoned in.
Yeah, I did, and then luckily the announcers were nice enough to be like, if you're just joining us, blah 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 blah, and now you're caught up, and I'm like, okay, good. Then I watched for 5 minutes, had to switch out laundry, and here we are.
Yeah.
So,
Erin,
Yeah.
how goes the world of COVID for you?
yeah, that's just to do setup. We brought Erin on because the last time we talked to Erin, I think was like early spring.
Mhm.
And at least when we covered COVID stuff, we had Johnny
Yes.
on to cover the dating world and what a shit show that is. But then we were talking about like things have changed, but also not. Like we thought summer was like the summer heat will kill it off. It'll be totally
Yeah.
fine. It's not going to exist through the summer. And guess what?
I like
Yeah.
how you slipped into Donald
Oh,
Trump there.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. But here we are. It's fall, and we're still here.
We're still here.
And it's
So what happened?
still seriously here.
Is there an uptick? I don't know if I can trust the media or not. Like I think we talked about this on a couple of other podcasts that if you get attacked and eaten by a shark and you happen to have COVID-19 in your system, then that was a COVID death,
Yeah.
not a shark death. And I thought that was really interesting. So I never know when I'm hearing these death tolls. Have they changed that, Erin? Have they not? Are they still sticking with that type of, if you have COVID, no matter what's underneath that as a death?
Well, I am very skeptical about the reporting. I mean, there's people getting tested every day, like sports stars getting tested every day, even if
Yep.
they don't have symptoms. So the stats to me are probably a little skewed overall, but generally the death toll has not changed. It's still like 0.6% death rate for COVID.
Wow. Yeah, I heard something on the radio today with I listened to a guy in the morning called Clay Travis. He has a show called Outkick the Coverage.
Okay.
And he was talking about COVID. Now I'm going to butcher these numbers. I should have brought them up. But he was like,
But we don't do that on this show, John.
That's
We
true.
don't research data. And
Only the facts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No fact checking here, folks. So it was something around the lines of he was going through demographics like age gaps, like from 31 to 45 there was a 99.999% chance you're going to make it through, and then he kept going up, and I think it only got to about 90% if you were 70 or over.
Yep.
Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
87% of all cases are mild.
Yeah. I actually think I had it before I even knew what it was.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably did.
Yeah.
And did tested.
It was just it was like a cold that I could not get rid of. And I kept thinking, like, why is this hanging around? And it was like 2 weeks. My daughter was sick. She had like, when I mean sick, it was just like a cold. It was just, she just had a bunch of boogers. That's what she says. I got boogers, Daddy. I got boogers. And then Ursula and I, we couldn't shake it. And that was right after we went to the Shed Aquarium, Greg.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why I was almost
Okay.
like, or it was it before? I can't remember. But for like 2 weeks, we were like, this is the worst cold ever. And then it was gone.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think it was before, because we were talking about, do we still want to do that event if your whole house was sick?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
So then I brought a bunch of teenagers down, and we snuggled up on Gwen for a good weekend.
Yeah. But
you
we were
get-
good.
No, we didn't get anything as a result of that.
How about you?
So,
Did you get anything, Erin? Not during
No.
any of this time?
I had a little scratchy throat for a while. I think it was probably allergies. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say if you're not being tested.
Yeah.
Some people just get a headache. Some people lose their taste and smell. So to say that, everybody's going to experience, cold symptoms, cough, shortness of breath, fever. Some people don't get a fever. So it's really hard to say what's what these days.
I remember in one of our
allergies.
in one of our past shows, we had talked to you about this, and we said it's not a matter of if you're going to get it; it's a matter of when you're going to get it. When we were talking about like the infection rates and how easy it is to catch. Now, whether that turns to be a fatal thing, that's when we were talking about what are the numbers, and like John mentioned, the age group stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the mentality has changed. Like there's a whole group of people now that they're like, the masked up, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that, but they're trying to keep from getting it, rather than we were talking about that flattening of the curve so we don't overrun the hospitals.
Yeah.
That seems lost. That message seems to be gone now. It's just like, no, we don't want anybody to get it. And it's like,
Yeah.
but is that even possible? I mean,
it's super hard to say. I mean, if it had anything like the SARS virus that happened in like 2002, 2003, that came on with a vengeance, and then it was gone. Like gone. Like it was gone before they could even make a vaccine for it. So this is a SARS type virus. It's hard to say if it's just going to kind of fizzle out or if it's going to linger for a while and then we'll finally get a vaccine. I don't know. Research and development for vaccines takes a good 18 months. So I'm really pushing for this, and I'm honest, I won't be first in line for it, but
No, neither will I.
Yeah.
What do I had a thought there and then I lost it. Because was it about a year? I mean, I remember like stuff in Japan was hitting
like in November, right?
It seemed that way, right? Are we coming up on a year from a global perspective of how we're dealing with this?
It seems that way. I think it did start in Asia around the end of the year.
Yeah, because I remember traveling for work, and it was kind of a, well, we think it's still gonna you're gonna be okay, but maybe the travel we have planned for you early next year, that may or may not happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So the president got it.
That he did.
Yeah, I actually watched it because I was waiting for the Chiefs New England game, and I was watching the coverage on Channel 2 News of him leaving the hospital in Air Force. No, the helicopter is not Air Force One. What's the helicopter called?
Isn't that Marine One?
Marine Force or Marine One? Anyway, he was in the helicopter, and they filmed him, flying home, and then he walked into I think the front of the White House, where there was like 4 flags, 2 on each side, and he just stood there and put his thumbs up. And I guess they said that's the picture he wanted everybody to see. He took off his mask, he put it in his pocket. But okay, like whatever.
And in this political space, you want to say you don't want to say like someone would lie about having COVID. But I don't know. I mean,
Well, I don't know if he would lie about that. I can see him rushing the symptoms, but I can't see him lying because what hasn't he been all about like no face mask? I don't need that. I'm right. So why
Yeah,
would he all of a
I
sudden say
mean,
I have it?
to then say he beat it. I mean,
Oh,
like it didn't get him. But I don't know. I mean,
He's
I don't
probably
trust.
80% that have a mild case.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
probably.
of the population of infected people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. What do you guys think about the idea that once this election's over, whichever way it goes, I think we're screwed either way. Whichever way it goes, that it's gonna calm down. What do
I
you think?
think perhaps the hysteria of it might calm down.
Calm
The
down.
sensationalism of it might calm down.
Yeah, but it's still gonna be there, right? Like, Aaron, do you think, in your professional opinion, we're gonna be dealing with this for like 3 years?
Hmm. I don't know. It seriously is so unpredictable. It's hard to say. I
Yeah.
think this uptick in cases right now is probably due to younger people getting it. And so,
Oh, I got a story. Have
the
you
college.
heard? Yeah, have you heard of what the University of Illinois did? Or
Uh-uh.
not what
No.
they did, the sororities and the fraternities did there. They did something called a COVID party. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Oh.
this is what they did. To be young and dumb, guys. They would get one person that was found COVID positive, and they would basically bring them into the party. Everybody knew that there was one person at that party that had COVID, and they just basically were playing Russian roulette.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was, yeah, that sounds about right. A bunch of college kids would do that. That sounds about right. But they like obviously when the university caught on to it, they put the kibosh to it. The sororities, from what I understand, the sororities and the fraternities, from what I understand, were shut down. They were kicked out of the houses because that isn't that doesn't that like the fines go to the people that own the house, not necessarily the fraternities?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
think back to that Greek system that I was never a part of.
Right.
I think you're right. I know that was in terms of like if you were caught at a drinking at a frat house, like if that party got busted, like they would clear out everybody. You know, they do
Yeah.
the whole you got 5 minutes to get everybody out of the house. We all went home. And then the guys that were at the house got the tickets, like got the hosting a party ticket. So that could be right. Um, Similar thing happened at my hometown high school, and I have a niece and nephew that are still there. Beginning of the school years, someone who was out of high school, but it sounds like it was those guys that are out of high school but still hanging around the high school kids.
Well, all right, all right, all right, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Very much. That's the setup I got, and I'm just gonna roll with it because I have no idea who those guys are. And if you're hosting huge parties with high school students,
We're
come
talking
on.
to you, Mark Chamorro.
Yeah. Oh God. Jeez. Going back to that. Anyway, so yeah, they held a big party. I don't know if I heard it was called a COVID party, but I don't know if they knew that there was somebody there that was positive. But the I heard 70 was the number. Um, Cases that came back or tests or whatever. And so they shut down the entire high school for 2 weeks. Like, okay, well, we're going virtual, done. Um, and people were upset about it. And they're like, well, I don't see why you got to punish all the kids. What about the kids that didn't go to the party? It's like, it doesn't work that way. Sorry.
Yeah, viruses don't think about it like that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, they really don't.
And to me, those 20 something guys that hosted that party, they should be the ones that have some kind of legal action or ticket or something. I mean, they disrupted the entire community for 2 weeks because they wanted to throw a drinking party a week before school started.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting question. What do you think about that, Aaron? Do you think a kid who, like, come on, we've all been 17 or 16, bored out of our minds, and and did stuff that we weren't thinking long term, right? Should they get some sort of other than a ticket? should they? I mean, like that's a health risk, right? If they just infect one kid that doesn't handle it well, or COVID really messes up their system and destroys their lungs, and they're asthmatic the rest of their lives, or something worse, like
Yeah.
what would the punishment be? Like, there has to be some sort of a like. There has to be some sort of a punishment, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, but what is it? How do you enforce that? Like,
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
there's
I remember
also,
back in the 90s hearing about kids that were HIV positive and they knew about it and then would just still go sleep around.
it's
And
still
that was, yeah, I mean,
That still happens?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and just not just HIV, but any STD, they're rampant.
Yeah.
Bad.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got the herp.
I've
You got the
heard
herp if
that.
you don't care, man.
Yeah.
I've heard that in nursing homes is the worst. I've
Maybe
heard
not, but like senior retirement communities, like the villages in
that.
Florida.
Yeah. I hear that rivals the Olympic
Yeah.
Olympic dormitories.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Oh, I'm just swinging back and forth. It's fine. Totally fine. Yeah.
They don't have to worry about pregnancy, so that's not an upfront concern of
So
theirs.
we don't got to worry about that anymore. Let's just.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
I think if I'm ever put in a nursing home and I am single, that's my route. Because why not? What else? I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Right? Why not? I either said that when I was, and this was when I was young because I thought I was being funny, but I always thought, well, I think at some point, like maybe when you're 80, and like your family's okay, everybody's okay, and you're kind of just by yourself. Like it at that time, it'd probably be okay to like be senile. Go a little thinking you're, I don't know, like you're in World War II and you're just like you're throwing up mattresses and waiting for the orderlies to come by so you can throw like, I don't know, like stuff at them or whatever. I think at a time I thought that would be fun, but I thought, that was my young time.
Yeah.
Nobody else thought about that?
No, because the closest thing we came to a war was crawling home drunk through UW Whitewater campus or something, or damn near getting mugged behind the library. I mean, that's as close to violence as we got. So
I got mugged at Whitewater.
I know, that's why I brought it up.
It tore my hoodie. It was my favorite hoodie. It tore the pocket open, and I punched the guy. And I didn't know how to punch, but I punched the guy, and he his braces. I think I hit his braces or his teeth. Something. It shredded my knuckles. I remember that. So.
But you're still here to tell the tale.
I am.
So now you can be old and senile and punch
here,
orderlies like the one time.
That story is probably going to grow by leaps and bounds by the time I'm 80.
They tried to kill me.
Yeah.
One guy pulled a knife.
One guy looked like the Joker, and he didn't have teeth. He had knife for teeth. He had they were pointed. That's what it was. Exactly.
It was a crazy time in '94.
Exactly. Where'd you go to college, Erin?
My undergrad was at UW Oshkosh / UW0 Osh Vegas.
So what was that like?
Fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Were you involved in any type of like the cops pulled over at a party and you were told, hey, you got 5 seconds, get out of there?
No? I was a good girl.
Shut up. Really?
Yeah.
You just drank at the dorm?
Didn't get caught.
Okay, all right. Didn't get caught. Okay.
Safe places.
My first 2 years were at UW La Crosse, and I did get caught drinking in the dorms, and we had to do an alternative to drinking night for the rest of the dorm. So we had toga,
which nobody showed up to.
Yeah, exactly. Toga pizza party in the basement, and we watched Revenge of the Nerds.
Wow.
That'll teach you to drink underage.
I learned my lesson.
That movie really doesn't hold up in terms of today's standards.
It
where
doesn't. I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh God, they're doing hidden cameras in the sorority house, doing the whole like pan down. I want to see Bush. I mean, it was.
Oh, I
It
remember
was.
that. I
It
remember
was.
that.
I mean, stuff you just can't. I mean, so
Oh
wrong.
no,
So
of
wrong.
course you can't. But I mean, does it hold up as a good movie? Forget
Uh,
forget the whole what you can and can't do anymore. Like it was the '80s. Like is that considered like I haven't seen it in
pretty sure it was
since the
still wrong in the 80s, but I I don't know. I don't know if I would say it holds up as a good comedy.
No. What about you,
I
Aaron?
mean,
I think I'm over it. Like,
I'm over it.
yeah.
All right. Well, you guys aren't fun. It's fine.
have you had that? And now I know we're getting away from COVID, but that's what we do on this show. We just
That
mess around.
is. That
I'm
is.
Um,
over that too.
have you guys tried to rewatch a movie or like show your nieces and nephews or your kids the like a movie that you thought was awesome growing up, and then you watch it, and then you're like,
Yeah.
like you have to like shut it off because you're like, this isn't good. This I shouldn't be
Oh,
showing this to my
nothing
child.
like that. I recently showed recently on Hulu, they downloaded the entire run of Thundercats.
Ooh.
And okay, first off, the beginning, like the intro is still awesome.
Oh,
All right. And
the credits scene.
that got Gwen to run down there and go, Thundercats. And she come down, and then right as the show starts, she walks away, and I'm sitting there watching 20 minutes of just horrible cartoon. And it breaks your heart. So anybody who has not watched the Thundercats on Hulu, don't. Or just watch the intro, stop it. Because it won't get better from that point on. It's so bad.
Epic though, when you watched it back in the day, were you like, this is the best thing ever?
Absolutely.
I remember telling my teacher, I can't stay after class. Thundercats is on at 3:30. And he looked at me like, so?
Well, you were in high school, John. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So Aaron, any movie you try or TV show that you tried watching that you're like, oh my God, it doesn't hold up?
I don't think so. I don't know. I've rewatched stuff that I loved, like even with my niece and nephew, like Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. That was one of my favorites. They really
That's a
liked
good
that.
one.
So even looking at that animation or the way that they combined animation with live action, you didn't sit there and go, oh,
well,
that was
I kind of did,
really bad.
But what I was getting at was not so much that it didn't hold up, but there was content in there. Like Bed Knobs and Broomsticks doesn't. That's fine. I mean, you may have to describe a little bit of England during World War II, but I'm talking about like when I started. I showed the kids Goonies like way too young, and Goonies is a phenomenal film. I'm never going to say I don't. But when the penis breaks off the statue and they're trying to glue it back on, and they're calling each other derogatory names for homosexuals and things like that, you're just kind of like, oh no, okay, sorry, we're gonna stop this now. You haven't tried that yet, John?
You know what? Actually, she's starting to notice stuff now. We were watching I forgot. Oh, we were watching American Horror Story. The last season where they took like this every slasher movie of the 80s, it's in this season. So it's kind of fun. It's at some sort of camp, and there's a Mr. Jingles, that's the killer, and somehow they put in the Eddie Ramirez, the Night Stalker, like the real serial killer.
Okay, but you're watching this with Gwen?
No, we were watching it, right? Not thinking she was paying attention.
Okay.
And all of a sudden she goes, what happened there? And we're go, okay, so we have to shut this off, and move on to, I don't know, something else. And we're in that territory right now where she's starting to look at stuff and ask us questions.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're like, okay, so it looks like we're just watching America's Funniest Home Videos until she's 16.
We did a lot of that.
But yeah, I haven't done anything like that to where I unless count Thundercats.
I've started Monty Python clips to show Grayson a couple like funny one-liners, and then the clip goes long, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, we're done.
Holy Grail is a great film. You can show most of it, but then they eventually get to Castle Anthrax, and you're like, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Hey, Erin, how are you with your flavor of music? How do you play that with the kids around, or do you? You do not do that.
Well, I have to be very careful because they like it. They call it TT's kind of music.
It's a TT kind of music.
Can't play certain serious stations because some of them are explicit. And so when I'm paid through my favorites, I have to be aware of who's in the car with me.
So what do they call it? TTs?
They call me TT. I'm their auntie TT.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me that. That's going to be all over this podcast now. Yeah.
So that's TT's music.
Hey, finish this lyric for me, Erin. Okay? I just flipped the switch. You don't know that song by Drake? Are you kidding me?
Maybe I just don't know what.
I just flipped the switch. Switch. No? What's the end of that lyric?
I don't know. Sing it.
I just sang it.
You said it.
Oh, that's how
TikTok, the TikToks don't go that far.
Drake doesn't really, I don't know, sing. He just kind of like talks to a beat.
Drake's really my favorite.
No? Oh, that's right. You're kind of hardcore Run DMC and back in the day Eminem, right?
Yeah, I like everything pretty much. Drake just is not really on that list.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
I'm looking it up.
Awkward for me, Erin. I appreciate that.
No, I want to know what it is.
Have you heard Cardi B's new song?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, you have. Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
WAP?
First off, how do you know? No, I haven't heard WAP.
You need to go.
I don't listen to music like you guys do. I listen to either podcasts or I listen to sports radio.
You need to go to that when this is done, but don't let Gwen be around.
Look up the video.
What's it called?
WAP.
WAP.
It's an anagram.
What's it stand for, Greg?
Wet ass pussy.
That's WAP, right?
That's a WAP. That's a WAP.
That's a WAP. That's a WAP.
Yeah, it's and on that song, I mean, when it first came out, and I, because I was following social media, and then it kind of blew up. I found it hilarious because so many people, like people my age that have teenagers, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe why would they make a song like this?" And I'm like, so I remember in like 1990 when my brother and I got a hold of a 2 Live Crew cassette.
Yeah.
And just my mom like busting in the door like, what the? And I mean, just like, stop. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's just rap, Mom. It's not a big deal. I mean, songs like this, I mean, and it's a sexually explicit song. You can figure that out. They've been around forever. Like,
yeah, James Brown used to sing it.
Oh, come on. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, this is just a little bit more overt. Like some of the older songs were more implied, but this is very.
This is just in your face.
Oh yeah. It is like a 2 Live Crew song. It is like My Neck, My Back. It is. What's her name? I just lost the name of female rapper. She's got the Fox.
Mary J. Blige.
No, but same era.
Eve?
Elliott?
Eve. Yeah, I think it was Eve.
Okay.
Like some of her songs, I mean, it's explicit. I mean, they're not cutting any corners in terms of there's not a lot left to the imagination. We'll leave it up to that.
Do you guys remember when The Simpsons was considered bad for kids to watch it?
Yeah.
Because Eat My Shorts was a.
Yeah. My kids are getting into that right now, and like we've got Disney Plus, so like they just want to like binge The Simpsons. And I'm like, when I'm kind of going, I watched something else. They're like, why? It's good. I'm like, how many seasons are there? And I think they're up to like 32.
A million.
I'm like, and I look at him like, sweetheart, I've been watching The Simpsons for 32 years. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, I can.
I agree with that.
It's not going anywhere. We can take a break.
Yeah. They're still the same age. Like, it's not getting better. It's just
it's satire. It's social
right,
satire.
of course.
So
Yes.
it's always going to maintain its relevance. But eventually these actors, I'm sure, are going to want to retire. Kind of. I mean, they're getting to that age. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, there's probably other voice actors that can take over, but it's definitely a show I think they need to probably tie it up.
Yeah,
A couple of shows like
probably
that.
run its course.
Yeah, what's the score, Aaron?
I don't know. It's on a commercial right now.
What was the score, Aaron?
It was 20 something.
I think you guys are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see unless Tom Brady plays like he played last week and that defense is as good as advertised. Other than that, I don't see anybody in the NFC. Maybe you might have a problem with Seattle. I don't know. I think Seattle's defense is pretty bad. So
pretty disappointed. I saw today the Titans fired their coach. I mean,
Texans.
Texans. Yes, fired their coach.
They should have.
Really? You think so?
Absolutely. Yes.
Bad start, but
the next guy. Well, no. That's been a long time coming, and we can break down the Texans and all you want, but I don't think anybody wants to hear that. It's just they should have. The Detroit Lions guy, his head's on the chopping block, and so is the Atlanta.
What about the Cowboys? With
I love it. I hope they keep doing it. I think it's fantastic.
I do too, but I'm like shocked. I mean, they got their own stadium played "You Suck" as they're leaving the field. Like they're on the big screen and it's "You suck," and I'm like, there's only like 1,000 people in the crowd, so whoever was running the sound
is fired.
Probably
Jerry Jones is gonna be like, "Oh, that was cool." No,
not at all. Unless it was a complete someone just grabbed the video and put in their own audio, but it looked legit, and I'm like, wow.
I unfortunately though I don't think it matters as long as that guy in Kansas City is doing what he's doing. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, he's pretty much a machine.
Dude, I'll say this now. Greg, I think I texted you this because I had to text somebody because I don't think anybody understands what they're watching here. I think we're seeing the Michael Jordan of football.
Okay, so that brought up a point. I wanted to podcast about it anyway. And we can just bring
Greg's upset.
this, right? It's not. I'm not upset. I think he's good. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the term, because you use this in your text me, the term "greatest to play the game."
Yes.
I don't think you can apply that to football.
I think you can.
I don't think you can, because football is so diverse. So Michael Jordan could be the best player to play basketball because he's got to play defense, he's got to play offense, he's got to do all this.
I know where you're going with that. Absolutely.
Certain hockey players, I think, could be the best to play the game. They're all over the ice. They can do lots of stuff. But in football, the best ever you can say the best ever to play that position, like the best quarterback you've ever seen.
I hear you.
But to say the best player of the game ever, you can't put. I mean, there are kickers that have a higher score count than some quarterbacks. So is then that kicker better than that quarterback in playing the game?
Well, it sounds like you're just judging it off of statistics.
No, I'm judging it off of the positions. Like we can say.
I think you have you can legitimately argue that. I used to say before I watched this kid, Pat Mahomes, play, I used to say Jerry Rice was the best player in football ever. Mm-hmm. Because I thought in his time, they didn't pass the ball nearly as much as they do now. And no one's going to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, they're not going to catch him. And I think he has over 200 touchdowns.
That sounds right.
A wide receiver. 200 touchdowns in a time frame where they didn't pass the ball as much as they do now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always thought that's it was either him or Lawrence Taylor I was giving it to.
But again, I mean, Lawrence Taylor, it's a whole different position.
Right, I know, but I'm looking at people that literally can change the game because of the fact that we're talking about a wide receiver. That's like back in the day when Michael Jordan first came out there. A guard could never do what he did, take over a game the way he did. It was always a center or a big man's game.
Mm-hmm.
And this little 6'6" guy with his tongue hanging out was flying all over the court making plays like crazy. But you bring up a good point. Erin, what are your thoughts?
I was going to say, Erin.
I would agree with Greg that you can't just generalize these players, but I think I also see what you're saying, Johnny, because there's like an overall like just talent. Like they're good at what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think
Okay,
about
so-
like
Go ahead,
Joe
Greg.
Thomas, product of
Yes.
Wisconsin football,
Yes.
one of the best offensive linemen in the game,
Ever.
played for the Browns
Yep.
his entire career.
Correct.
I think as a whole, did he even get over like 16 wins? I don't know if his entire career.
I'm sure he
It's-
did with that. I'm sure he did. But I know where you're going with that.
But a phenomenal change the game type of offensive lineman.
Oh, timeout.
You think? No?
No, I don't think he changed anything.
He was just really good at what he did.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
And he had like this long streak of playing until he like tore his triceps in his last
Mhm.
year. Well, I felt really bad for him, but he didn't change the game.
But I mean, just being that good, you can't. Was he the best offensive lineman
Ever?
I don't know. I don't know.
No,
I can't
He
say.
wasn't. He wasn't. I think a lot of people could say Jack Hanna from the Patriots back in the 70s. I hear Jackie Slater and Anthony Munoz from the Bengals in the 80s is considered the best ever.
You are going way out of my scope.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But here's my point with Lawrence Taylor. If it wasn't for Lawrence Taylor, the Joe Thomas's position would never be important.
okay.
So
Okay.
he like
I could-
Lawrence Taylor changed the way offensive football had to be because
had
of
to,
what he was
they
doing.
had to, he changed the way that they had to, the offensive line had to
Right.
look at. All right, I could
Now
could,
I know that Patrick Mahomes is so young in his career and he
Mhm.
could break his knee and that's it. We never see the same guy
it
again.
could be all hookers and blow in the off season. And
Correct. If he takes care of himself and I mean like takes care of himself the way that it seems Aaron Rodgers is and the way Tom Brady has and the way Drew Brees has, and you get 20 years of this kid with that coach, that's if the coach lasts that long.
Mm-hmm.
It might be incredibly difficult to remotely like he's the only quarterback I've ever watched where down and distance doesn't matter. Like usually in a 3rd and 7, you're like, oh, it's going to be tough to get out of this one. Even if it was Brady or Rodgers or Favre,
Mm-hmm.
whoever. This kid, it's like 3rd and 21, and he picks it up like routinely. Like you're like, that's not like, no, that shouldn't be happening. Like the Patriots, you were watching the game today, right, Greg?
Yeah, but I also think you have a little bit of a man crush going on right now.
About Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. I have a lot of crushes when it comes to football players, for sure. Like I just appreciate what they can do, for sure.
Not so much dancers, but football players.
Yeah. Well, because basketball, I don't know. I'm just like, all right.
I have a hard time with basketball. Aaron, do you follow the NBA at all? I mean, it's
Did you ever, Aaron? Did you watch it during Michael Jordan's time, or it just wasn't a thing?
Basketball is not my thing.
Is baseball your thing?
I do like baseball.
Okay.
I
Do you
like-
follow the players, or do you like just the atmosphere of baseball?
Both. I mean, I like Brewers baseball. I'm a little bit biased there.
Okay. By the way, you guys have great stadium. It's a great atmosphere. I went there for opening day once. Greg, you were there with us, right? Or you met us there
I met you guys
after.
And-
Well, we didn't actually go
Hold on.
to the game. We just hung out in the parking lot.
Oh God,
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
that was a night where I saw Johnny, and I hadn't seen him in a while at that point. And we come into the bar, he immediately almost tackles me in a hug. And as his face is like right here, I hear, "You smell good." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, yep, it's John. Haven't seen him in a while. Yep, this is normal."
He's blushing now. 20 years down the road, he's blushing now. Look at that, Aaron.
I'm a little warm, but
Look,
it was funny.
I got him a little warm from a
It was
memory.
a little warm. That was an interesting night. A lot of
What
stuff.
were you wearing?
What's that?
I don't know. Old Spice. I think
No.
that was probably it. I don't know. I don't wear like cologne or anything. I don't know. It was whatever. It was maybe Degree antiperspirant. I don't know. I really don't recall.
Huh. Anyway.
So yeah, it's a great environment at a Brewers game.
Yeah. So Brewers is your team. You're just a homer, right? Like, like Green Bay, Brewers, Wisconsin Badger football.
Mm-hmm.
Can we all agree that we love Wisconsin Badger football?
Certainly.
Yeah.
I love the Badgers.
Yeah.
I had my timelines off. I thought they were supposed to play this last weekend. I'm like, where's the game?
October 26th, I think.
Like 4th. Whatever that 24th, 26th, whatever that weekend is, that Saturday.
Yeah, ESPN the last 2 weeks have been acting like they were like, thank God real college football's back. And I'm like, no. The Big Ten isn't playing yet, and they're talking about the SEC. I was like, hey, man, don't do that. We Midwesterns love our football too,
Yeah.
Certainly do.
So
what's the score?
Yeah, what's the score, Aaron?
It's 20.
What is it?
20-3.
20-3. All right. Hey, Aaron, have you been watching the Packers? Like, do you know when you're watching? Do you know what you're watching? Like, Okay, cool. So then, how long have you been watching the Packers? Your whole life?
Yeah.
All right. Who do you like better, Favre or Rodgers?
Rodgers.
Rodgers?
Yeah.
Okay. Greg?
Gosh, that is a good question. I have to try to block off the
Extracurricular activities.
that. There's certainly that. Wiener Cam and everything. The fact
Minnesota and the Jets.
Yeah, like more Minnesota is what because like, I mean, I know people that are Packers fans and they absolutely loathe the Bears. Like they hate them with a passion. But I grew up so close to the Illinois border, like we had a pretty good mix in our town. So like when the Bears went to the Super Bowl in the 80s, it was like there were enough people around. I'm like, I can get behind this team. They're okay. And the Packers sucked at the time. So but I've always had that level of hatred for Minnesota. For like never. So when he went to them, I thought that was just a big F you to the organization.
Oh, it was. He even says it was. He even said it was.
I mean, I thought it was childish. I lost a lot of respect for him in that particular. I think
wait till Rodgers leaves.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm saying, look, man. Nobody ever thought Montana would leave. Nobody thought Peyton Manning would leave. Nobody thought Tom Brady would leave. It happens.
It's a business. I mean, and that's where you get down to the business and making money. So yeah, I'm assuming Rodgers will leave at some point.
Come to San Francisco, Aaron. Come to San Francisco.
I think I've enjoyed watching Rodgers more, but he's almost like my adult football watching, where Favre was like my teenage football watching, because Favre started like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And all through college. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I think I'm enjoying watching football more now in my 40s as kind of the dad on the couch that's like, it's Sunday, TV's mine, go away.
Give me my mead.
Yeah, watching more than like in my 20s where it's like, let's have a party, let's get together. Because even at those parties, because I'm a social guy, like if the game was on, I was still talking to people and I'd miss stuff. So some of those great Favre plays, I would catch them on a replay or something like that, but I just wasn't as into it.
Yeah.
You appreciate it more now. You're older and wise.
You know, coming from where I came from, football was something I actually ran away from when I was little. I felt my dad had this way of pushing it on me. Like I wanted now. All right, here we go, folks. You guys can make fun of me all you want, and I'm talking
You
to
want
our
a couch to
audience.
lay down on, John, and we can
Yeah.
psychoanalyze this whole thing?
So
or-
I wanted a Care Bear for Christmas one year. I don't remember what age I was at, but I love that blue bear that had the Grumpy Bear. He was my favorite Care Bear. And so I asked my dad asked me on Christmas. He probably thought I was, anyway, he asked me what I want for Christmas, and I said I want a Care Bear, and I probably could just. He was probably like freaking out. So he buys me a Nerf ball, a Nerf football for Christmas, and then he, told me to go outside and catch a bunch of passes. So anyway, I didn't like football for a long time. Moved to Wisconsin, met some friends who are diehard Bear fans. I mean, sickly diehard Bear fans. Like I wish I loved a team that much. And so basically what I'm saying is in my adulthood now, I spent my entire high school and college life hating Brett Favre because he would just always pull something out of his ass. And it was like last second, or you're like, how the hell did that guy do that? And you would get so mad, and he'd never miss a game. So he was always there. And he always seemed to go off when you didn't need him to go off. And all the mistakes that he would make, he'd never make them on the team that you were rooting for. Right. And now that he's gone, God, was he fun to watch. Like me looking at it as a non-Packer fan, I was like, wow, what a fun guy that was to watch. So that's how I look at everything now is like Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. They're all fun to watch. And I'm not gonna sit there. Shut up, Greg. I'm not gonna sit there and like get on some, like I don't carry that hate I used to carry in high school for any team really. But
did you get the Care Bear though?
I did. Good old mom,
There you go.
Yeah.
David Chappelle has a great bit on Care Bears that
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Our generation, I think it was like our generation, we were raised to care.
That's
how it starts out.
I still have two in the basement.
I do too, in my basement here.
What are they? Don't act like you don't know. What are they?
Sleepy Time, the one with the star and the moon, the blue. And then I had one of the baby Care Bears. I don't remember.
Greg?
I think I'm trying to think of his name.
Tenderheart and Lucky?
Okay, so Tenderheart was the leader, right? Like he was just a basic teddy bear with a heart.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have him.
Tenderheart.
And then I have the Care Bear cousin of the lion.
Oh, the lion or something?
I think Lionheart. And I gave him to Kate when she was young. And she like put makeup on him and cut his hair and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm okay. Let's put him back in the box. And I don't know why. I mean, like, I saved those specifically to give to my children, not thinking that they would need a makeover, but...
I am with you. Right now, I'm going through that. I saved a bunch of toys that I don't care about, and still, man, when she picked up Batman and she mistreated Batman, I was like, okay, all right, it's good. Why don't we just not play with this one? Let's put Batman over here, and look, this is a beat up Batman. Let's play with this one. Not that. Oh God, she's got Spider-Man. Oh Jesus.
I kept some of my toys with the idea like I might someday have a room where I would like have a display shelf of them all arranged.
Or you mean
nicely? No, I was like actual like office space. Like I wanted that. But now I'm like those things are beat to crap. I don't think I'm going to display them ever. I'm just going to go buy new ones that are better sculpted.
And don't look gross.
Yeah.
What was your favorite toy growing up, Erin? What was it?
I really liked the My Little Ponies and Strawberry Shortcake. Those were fun.
Strawberry Shortcake. My sisters used to have those.
My mom still has ours.
They were. Are they still sent?
Hmm.
Did that chemical bond stick with the plastic for 30
Yeah,
some years?
they still smell like that. Yeah.
Greg, do you remember the He-Man that was a skunk?
Skunkor.
Smelled
Yeah.
really horrible.
Huh?
You guys don't remember that? Oh,
I don't
of course, Aaron, you didn't. Did you have any brothers, Aaron?
know.
Brothers? No. Or are you an only child?
I have one sister.
You have one sister. Yeah. Yeah, they used to have a He-Man toy called Skunkor. Was that who it was?
I think it was Skunkor. Yeah.
Okay. And he smelled horrible. Like that whatever they put on strawberry shortcake, they put it on that guy, but it was not a good smell.
It was bad.
Yeah. It was
There's
really
a
bad.
great documentary out on Netflix. I think it's called Power of Grayskull.
Right.
And it's all about the He-Man franchise, like, you know, when it was first coming up and how it was invented and how it kind of started to fall off. I mean, it was all, they were making cartoons and movies to sell toys.
Yep.
But even the toy makers were like, we're running out of ideas, guys. So we got to do something else.
Yeah,
And all their
started getting
different,
bad when they made
all the
rocks
different iterations that they
transform or something
had.
like
Yeah, it was interesting for even from an adult business perspective.
that. Yeah, of
Well,
course.
looking at that, it was fun.
But imagine that, okay? You're at a board meeting, right? And you've been selling this thing for 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they go, all right, what new idea do we have? I mean, we've used every animal. We've used dinosaurs. How about rocks? Right? Remember the Transformers? Or no, I'm sorry, not the Transformers, the GoBots. They had like these rock things that would just, you transform into a little pebble.
I
Just be
think
this pebble toy.
those were boulders.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway,
I think
they're
that was the name of that. Yeah.
yeah.
Back in the annals of 80s toys.
Yeah. So no Barbie for you, Aaron?
Oh, I had Barbies. I also
Yeah.
like Gem and the Rock Stars. They were
Gem?
cool.
Gem and the Rock Stars. I remember them.
That was kind of a guilty pleasure show because it was on after
agree.
He-Man.
It's
And
truly outrageous.
yeah.
Truly outrageous.
And I remember watching it going, they're kissing on a cartoon. Like, what's going on here?
You remember that when you thought that was a big deal when you saw that?
What's a big
Them
deal?
kissing or just Gem in general?
No, them kissing, like when you would see like the Baroness kiss Destro or whatever cartoon, you were like, oh, they're like Scarlet kissing Duke or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Saved by the Bell?
I
Of
love.
course.
Okay. Do you remember when it got serious right before the college years, where Zach and Slater were fighting over a girl and they actually got in a fight?
He ripped his silk shirt.
Yeah.
Like, and he's got like that Tarzan chest kind of hanging out there.
Yes. I remember watching that going, oh my God, this is so fantastic. Like they're fighting. They're really fighting. Oh, Zach threw a punch. You know?
They're rebooting that. They're coming out with
this would be the third generation.
it is Slater and Jesse, and it's going to be based around their family.
Or their failures in Las Vegas.
I have no idea. Like, yeah, I was wondering if there's got to be a joke in there about Mom.
They have to do that. Because basically she did fake, or she did soft porn, if you want to call that movie she did.
Talking about Showgirls?
Yeah, that was basically soft porn.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. And I say a long time like I watched it once and went, oh God, this is terrible. And never watched it again.
Yeah. But I don't remember Dustin Diamond actually did porn.
Oh, yeah. He went off the deep end because he was like in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah.
And I don't know what possessed him to.
Dude,
I mean,
stars, man. That stuff's that
because it's like they shot it themselves. It was, and I remember watching the TMZ story on it, just like,
sure you did, Greg.
Why would they do that? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not on my list of want to see. But like him and his wife had a friend over, and they decided to just have at it, and it got gross.
I'm sure it did.
So
Aren't you
I
glad
said-
you tuned in, Aaron, instead of watching the Packer game?
No,
Talking
the,
about 80s shows, 90s shows. Do you guys remember 90210? Aaron, were you big on that?
gosh, I love 90210. Still to this day, I own a full season.
Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I
My
yeah.
wife was. They brought that show back for the. They brought that show back, and they did it really weird, where they were
Mhm.
like, you know what I'm talking about? Like it was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, and it was like their real life.
Yeah, and like it was really weird, Greg. I remember watching 15 minutes of it and going, "What? What's going on?" And Ursula goes, "You just have to watch the whole thing." I'm like, "No."
I couldn't
But
get in.
Yeah, it was really bad. Ursula was
So the actors were playing themselves?
Yeah, like
playing
there
themselves. It was weird.
Oh.
Yeah,
it was weird.
That's not
yeah,
good.
very
Yeah.
weird. Hey, going back, I want to go back to the Saved by the Bell. Do you know that the second generation where Screech was the assistant to the principal, there was an actor there called Johnny Angel?
Oh.
When
Oh,
I
really?
saw that, it pissed me off. I was so mad because that's when I wanted to be an actor, Greg, right? And I'm like, that mother effer took my name.
Of Johnny Angel.
Yeah,
Um,
took my name.
you'd have to go for your full name then and throw the third in there.
Or the G,
Yeah.
Johnny G. Johnny G. Angel the third. Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Yeah. What other reboots have we seen?
That suck.
Or that even worked?
Has there ever been a good reboot?
The Hawaii Five-0 was pretty good.
You're right. What
but
about Knight Rider?
No. There's never been a good Knight Rider reboot.
When they brought it back. I'm talking about when they brought it back and they made Kid a red car. It was like a TV special.
Right. Yeah, that wasn't good.
All I remember is David Hasselhoff doing a kick and it was horrible. Like he did a
Yeah.
kung fu kick and it was really bad.
That was not good. Like Boy Meets World, they did a reboot of that on Netflix.
Did they really?
They did,
Full House.
Girl Meets World, the Full House. Yeah. Like
Was
my
that
kids
good?
got into
I
it.
didn't watch that. Was that good?
I
My
didn't
kids
watch
got into them. I mean, they watched it. It's the same mentality. just last night because we ditched cable, so I'm flipping through the channels, and I was like channel 27-8 or something like that, and they had a rerun of Growing Pains on. Man, was the acting just god awful,
atrocious.
and it was the episode where the mom was going into labor, and like as they're running around trying to decide who's going to drive who, the current son, who's like 13, is sitting in the kitchen because it's his birthday and he's got this hamburger birthday cake. Just everybody's forgotten about me because mom goes into labor. I mean, it was god awful to the point where my daughter turned to me and she's like, "Did you used to watch this show?" Like, yeah, we did. Like every week, and we thought it was great. She's like, "Huh." Okay. And she just had that look on her face where like, when you dropped on your head as a child, I mean, just that.
Yeah.
It's not going to, this is terrible. And it was terrible.
Erin, what was your favorite sitcom back in the day?
I really liked Growing Pains.
Yeah.
Favorite
Did you have Kirk Cameron on your wall?
No, I didn't really
buddy.
have anybody on my wall. I had a huge crush on Pacey and Dawson's Creek, Joshua Jackson.
Erin, who didn't?
Oh my god.
Hey, I
Especially that part
actually
where he slept with his teacher.
yeah,
Wait, no.
that was awesome.
Oh, whatever.
But hey, do you agree that it ended well with Pacey and Joey together?
I'm a Pacey fan, so yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I have a bone to pick with Friends. So anybody that's remotely in charge of Friends or was remotely in charge of writing that, because they listen to this, Greg, I have Anywho, there was a time where it was Joey and Rachel getting together.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, it just fizzled out so fast to get them back to Rachel. I think it should have ended with Joey and Rachel together. Ross had like 7 tries.
but I
No, Greg.
I understand what you're saying, but no,
I don't think you do.
because the people didn't want it, and I believe in terms of contracts, they had already signed Joey in his "I'm Going to California" show.
Yeah, that was a horrible spin.
Well, it was.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But
It
I
would
think
be
that's
better
why
with
they
Monica
probably
and
couldn't
Chandler.
last. What do I think about that?
No, it would have been better with Monica and Chandler if they did the spin-off with them and the Burbs
Oh,
raising kids.
sure.
Mhm.
That would have been way better. Way
Yeah.
better. Yeah. Anything else, Erin? Anything from the 80s besides Growing Pains? Like, wasn't there...
I liked Family Ties too.
Who?
Family Ties.
Family Ties.
Oh, yeah. Family Ties was great. Tom Hanks was in that. He was the alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
alcoholic uncle.
Yep. He was.
He hit
And-
Alex P. Keaton.
Yep. Smacked him, and the dad got all mean for like one episode.
Yeah.
Get out of my house.
Yeah.
Because those parents were mostly just high and doing it all the time. I didn't catch on to that as a kid.
I didn't catch on to it either until...
All the time.
Yeah, I remember I got really into Michael J. Fox and Alex P. Keaton. I used to carry around a briefcase and I got beat up. I didn't know why I was carrying the briefcase. I just...
Because Alex P. Keaton had one.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing was in it. Actually,
well,
I
we
think
didn't
fake
get-
Monopoly money was in it.
We didn't get the piece of like, here he is as like a young Republican and his parents were like totally left. That comedy was
Yeah.
totally just lost on us.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the Cosby Show. Like that was
yeah, that's a good
that
one.
was good.
I didn't get Cheers at the time. I
Well, we
watch it
weren't-
now. That's a
Yeah.
good show.
Mhm. You get it now that you're an adult and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's an adult-ish.
Yes. Absolutely.
comedy.
What was it? Seinfeld. I got it and I didn't get it.
I forced myself into Seinfeld because like it was so big in my high school.
Right. Yeah.
But the problem was I had a job because it aired on Thursdays, I think at 8.
Yeah. That was the prime time slot.
But that was my night to work, so I never got to see it. So I always heard about it like the next day. I had to try to, and my parents wouldn't let me set the timer on the VCR to record it. So because they didn't want me recording a show every week. I don't know
What's a
why.
VCR, Greg? I'm just kidding.
Well, it was
Just kidding.
video cassette recorder.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Man,
Super great.
Do you know what I miss more than anything? Greg, I'm sure you're 100% behind me. I'm not sure about you, Erin. Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was such a great thing. They actually have a documentary on what happened to that.
Oh, that I
Tragic.
want to see.
Yeah, watch it.
'Cause-
I'll send you the link when I because I watched it and I was like, oh my god, like
That was prime time for a kid.
Yeah.
I would get up early on Saturdays.
me too. 5
to-
a.m.
to watch the different shows. And if
3 or
If
4
they-
different types of cereal.
on the different networks they had shows that I wanted to watch both, I was so pissed.
Of
Do
course.
you remember in like late summer, early fall, on like a Sunday night at 7, they would have like the preview show of all the cartoons that were going to be on,
Yeah.
and how excited you were to watch.
Absolutely.
And it was I remember the last, or one of them, not the last one, I don't know. It was hosted by the cast of Saved by the Bell, and they were like going through the different cartoon worlds and meeting all these different characters, and like I wanted to see what the new cartoons were coming out that season.
Absolutely. I remember when TV Guide had that. They had
Mhm.
like, this is what's coming for the Saturday morning cartoons, and I was
The
looking. I was like,
fall
oh, look at that guy's
preview.
sword. That must be a cool show. And Gummy Bears. I loved Gummy Bears.
That
Remember
show,
Gummy Bears, Erin?
Yes.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
I do remember
That-
that.
that show holds up. We've watched some of that.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Absolutely. Yep.
I will show Gwen that tomorrow.
That holds up. DuckTales, the classic DuckTales.
Oh yeah.
Tailspin.
Dun, dun,
Um,
dun, dun, dun.
God, what else? Even like the Warner Brothers, the Tiny Toons, they hold up.
What about
Animaniacs,
Chip and Dale's
Rescue Absolutely.
Cheers.
Did you know that was Indiana Jones and Magnum P.I.?
Yes, I did.
Went fine.
My favorite character was actually Zipper, the fly. That little dude. Here's a friends with Monterey Jack.
Yep.
Jesus, I need to
Gadget.
get a life.
I never really knew why.
What? What'd you
Gadget.
say? Gadget.
Oh, I love that. Oh.
Yeah.
I-
Remember
I like-
Darkwing Duck?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was
He's got a
cool.
reboot coming, from what I hear.
Does he? It's not gonna be as good.
If they don't have Gizmo Duck in there, it's not going to work.
Oh yeah, Gizmo Duck. I remember Gizmo
Yeah.
Duck. Jesus. It's just crazy how I remember I'm such an 80s 90s guy. Like
Mhm.
all that stuff was so much fun. It was so magical. It was like they don't get that now. Well, actually everything's just right at the fingertips.
It is, but it isn't. Like, my kids are getting deep into certain, like, anime and whatnot, or like even the Pokemon or whatever, but just the show, not the card game. But it's all like they're on YouTube and they're getting it either on YouTube or on demand. There's no rush of getting up and watching a TV show anymore, like every week.
Yeah.
So
So all right, Erin, what's the score?
27-9.
All right.
ooh,
So Packers are doing it again. All right. We can go on forever. I know we can, but we should cut it short. We're already an hour into this thing going down memory lane.
So we went from COVID to
Saturday morning cartoons.
And we've gone through Saturday morning cartoons. So
sounds
good
like
show.
sounds like a show. Sounds like it's what we do, Greg.
Yeah.
Very typical Johnny and Greg show. Yeah.
Yeah. Erin, thank you as always for just sitting there and watching us babble on and laugh at us. One day, Erin, I promise you, it's going to be all about you. One day, you know.
Are you? John's supposed to be coming up here next month for an event.
Yeah, we don't know if we're going to tape this event. Oh, I might need nursing assistance.
He might need some nursing assistance.
Yes.
Or at least a pretty lady to hold his hand.
Yes, definitely that. I might need two pretty ladies, so you might be on call.
Okay.
We'll tell you about it off the air because I don't want to drop it now. It's too much fun.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you that are listening, have continued to listen, thank you for listening. Oh, we got to do fact of the day. My fault. Fact.
It's only been a year.
Fact of the day. Ba, ba. All right, here we go. When a Russian jet crashed into a river in 1963, then captain of a 1898 built steam tugboat tied a rope around the cockpit window and towed the jet to shore with all passengers still inside. Okay. That's your fact of the day, brought to you by Johnny and the Greg.
Was
and
that
Erin
in
Stein.
Russia or was it like?
I don't know.
Like,
A Russian jet crashed into a river.
Oh,
Crashed into a river.
And
It wasn't
everybody's
even a lake. It was a river. Like rivers aren't that deep unless we're talking Mississippi or something.
oh, they can be. I mean, you can get barges and stuff on there.
Okay, Greg. I'm just kidding, man.
Old Man River.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. This is Johnny and the Greg podcast. We are out. Take care. So long. See you later.